Top of the hour, 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. And we got the famous, see, I'm going to call her famous because I've been knowing her for a while, but she's mad at me because I haven't stopped by yet. And I apologize because, I had just been busy. And that's no excuse. I'm going to try not make it an excuse. I'm going to try to get my butt out there. Good morning, my nurse practitioner, Reverend H2O. Okay, let me see here. I'm not hearing you. Is your volume on? Let me make sure I have nothing here on my end. Let me see here. Let me go. I still can't hear you. What is going on? Can you hear me? Okay, maybe I got something off over here. Let me see. What did I do wrong? See, I'm blaming myself already. What did I do wrong? Okay. Well, that's definitely not it. Woo. That was sort of not right. Okay, let's see what's going on. Why can I not hear this young lady? Hear me? Okay, let's see what's going on here. Huh. All right, everybody, just stay tuned. We'll get it together. Still can't. Tina, why don't you log out and log back in again? Okay. All right. Well, we're waiting on Tina to sign back in again. I don't know what's going on, but we'll find out in a few. She come back on. But we got her on right now, and she will be asking. Oh, I will be asking some questions with her. So I see. Oh, congratulations to Sandra, because she did it. She passed all her courses in real estate, so now she's bona fide. She's bona fide to do things now with real estate. Well, she was already bona fide, but she had to take those classes over. Every once in a while I have to do that. Me, myself, I have to do my electrician course before February 23rd to keep my license active. They sent me something in the mail saying I have to do that. So I'm getting that together right now. So let's see. She's signing back in again. I heard the tone. So let's see what happens when she come back. So every once in a while, you got to have continuing education. Even though you're in the field, there's new things that come out all the time. So you always got to stay up to date for everything. So that's what we're doing. That's what it's all about. So we're seeing if we can hear this time around. Hello. Wow. That is unique. What do we have going on? Let me see here. We are not, it is not cooperating with us today. Gotta love technology. Gotta love, I hear everything else but your voice. Let me see here. Let me make sure that on my end, phone ringing. Okay, it shows you off mute now, but now you're back on mute. I'm trying to figure out. Everybody, just hold on just a second. We're gonna do another link, because you should be coming in, and I do not hear you. You know what, Tina? Do you have your cell phone close to you? All right, call this number. It's the radio station number. We're gonna hook her up with a cell phone and still with the video, still be the same thing. So we'll be all right. So y'all just hold tight. Always. Yes. Call 210-461-8034. All right, hold on just a second. We're going to get you patched in. Hope this works. All right, here we go. Let's cut this down. All right, can you hear me now, Tina?
I can hear you.
Oh,
Can you hear
I
me?
can hear you too. All right, there we go. Gotta love technology. It's always,
Wow.
I don't know what happened, but it was always another way of getting your voice on. So, so what all things fail, we go to the phone. All right, everybody, we got everything together. When I was talking, saying I need to get by and see you, the first thing Sandra said, "Don't blame me." So I'm gonna blame her anyway. So, but I hear congratulations is coming in order for you too.
Yes, sir.
So what is this? You're gonna be Reverend H2O H2O for real?
Well, I am getting licensed on February the 5th at 6 o'clock at Word of Faith. God has so fit to told my pastor it is time for me to be officially credentialed as a minister. So that's the ceremony. So yes, I will be officially Reverend or Minister H2O.
Oh wow, that's great. So you be there, and so you gonna keep Sandra in line?
Oh no, I can't keep Sandra in line. Y'all gonna have to do that.
You have some influence, don't you?
No, sir.
Okay,
Only when he uses me. Only when he uses me.
and he does. He does uses everybody in the right way. You're so right about that. So what have you been up to since the last time we talked?
Well, I got I'm planning on having and want to invite all of your audience if they want to come in, especially if they want to get some information or see some testimonies about how the care here, the program is here. We're going to have what we call a testimony service. It's going to be March the 18th. I hope that your radio station will maybe be there and represent from 5 to 8 o'clock. And it is called Glorify Him, and it's a celebration of manifestation. So this is an opportunity for those who have been living H2 in our health and wellness program to demonstrate or to let them to testify how well God has helped them live H2, which is holy and healthy, mind, body, and spirit. So they're going to be able to show their before and their after, and they're going to testify about the transformation that they made in their life. So we're just going to celebrate the manifestation.
Oh, that is wonderful. Well, I'm gonna tell you. Oh, there's an echo. Do you have something on? Are you listening to the station?
Yeah, so I don't know how I can hear you on the phone, but I can also hear you in the TV or the computer.
Okay.
So I need to turn something off.
Yeah, turn something off. Cut the volume down on your computer.
Oh, okay. I can do that. Are you able to hear me now?
Yeah, can you hear me through the phone?
Okay, that's better.
Yeah, that's better. Okay. Yeah, there's a will, there's a way. Thank you, Sandra. Yeah, Sandra always saying, I hear things. I said, Sandra, I be messing with her all the time. But one thing that I did do that I'm so very proud of myself in doing, I actually I've been doing it anyway, but yesterday I went shopping, grocery shopping for my change of lifestyle.
Okay.
Well, I went on and got, you name it, asparagus, wheat, pasta, bread, all that stuff, leaving the high carbs alone. And so the doctor suggested that maybe I do some things. So I looked at the list and I said, I could do that. I could eat seafood. I could leave red meat alone. I could do that. But let me tell you something. Changing your lifestyle is not cheap. When you switch over from one to the other, you started adding things up. But I think I shopped enough myself for a month. So I'm good with that and everything. So I am sitting down. I order my wood planks so I can put on the grill to put my fish on and stuff. So I'm just changing everything over. And it's been a gradually change for me. But now I'm ready to do the full circle, just do it all. So that's what I'm doing.
Well, our topic today is going to help you get even more motivated, because remember the last time we talked, we were going to talk about men's health.
Yes.
And so I'm excited about this topic because God has laid on my heart since we last talked, a desire and a desire to want to get more men into our health and wellness clinic. So that is what he's told me after our last interview, is that he's really put a very inspired me to really go after our men. And there's a good reason why. For the year of 2023, I'm going to make an extra effort to try to get men into the clinic to be seen. And hopefully your radio station will help me and anyone else who wants to join me, including all those women out there. Because I'm sure you got women that have husbands that can encourage their husband by giving them this information if they're not listening, but to get them in. And so I'm excited about the topic we're going to talk about this today.
Okay, I'm just reading. Sandra told her husband, "You get in here, Reverend Tina's on." But you know what?
You don't mind.
Well, you know, before you start, I am so glad that you're doing that, because it seemed like when fitness is in, it seems like the man is always left out. You know, if you look at commercials, not focusing on the man, is usually the women they're focusing on. It's like the old cliche, oh, the man, he'll be all right. He'll be able to do it. He'll be fine. And they kind of sort of leave us out of the equation on a lot of things. And I'm glad that you're focusing in on that, because men, if you're not listening, you need to listen, because I'm going to turn everything over to Tina right now.
Well, amen. And there's a big reason why the world system is not really focusing on men, is because we know that in the last days, you know, I got to bring Jesus in here, God in here, that right is going to be wrong, and everything's going to be flipped in the last days. And so therefore, we know back in biblical times, the man was first. So if the adversary wants to take man down, or to take the world down, to take God's system down, he is going to work on taking out the man, because the man was the head. Back in Genesis chapter 1, verse 2, it says that God said, let us make man. He didn't say woman. He said man in our image, in our likeness, and let him have dominion over everything. He went specific, and I'll just wrap it all up over everything. And he created man in his own image and likeness. So men were first. And the fall, Satan didn't come in. The sin and disease and sickness didn't come in to not when the woman disobeyed God. It's when she turned to the man, and the man then disobeyed God, and that opened up the door for Satan to come in, sickness and the disease and all of that. So quite naturally, if you get the man, you get the family. The family, especially if we talk about Black history, the family, the backbone of the family is the man and the woman together, but the man is the backbone of family. And so therefore, if you want to destroy the nuclear family, you have to get the man out the house. And if we look over the years, even in the African American community, when the man is either out in prison or out because there's we have a lot of single parents, single women, men are out there, and if we on the system, there's a incentive to keep them on the system so they can get money from the government, and the man is not there. And if you want to destroy a society, you cut off the head of the serpent. You cut off the head and the sheep scatters. And so that's why men is really important for our men to be healthy, because if you're not around, you're not there to do what God has called the man to do, that's to provide and protect his family and to be the backbone of this society. So I'd like to say that there was a question at the Supreme Court nominee, what is a woman, right?
Yes.
No real answer was given, but let me answer this question. What makes a man? A man, of course, created by God, it comes down to the genes. Gender depends on chromosomes, just like the one chromosome, for instance, the Y. And the Y chromosome, which is unique to man, and hormones like testosterone. So the difference between a man and a woman is that Y chromosome, which causes the man to secrete the androgen, which is the male testosterone, responsible for deep voices, increased muscle mass, strong bones, male behavior, aggressiveness, as well as, or I can say assertiveness, as well as the libido, sex drive, a normal erection, and sexual performance. And all of that starts to decline after the age of 50, at the age of 40. So here is why this is so serious in the attack on men, because there is a longevity gap between women and men.
Yeah.
So if the man dies first, then the woman is left to fend for themselves. So although there are people living longer, women have outpaced men. Women's life expectancy is 80, but a man's life expectancy is 75. And then at the age of 65, for every 100 women, there's only 75 men. So why wouldn't the devil want to attack the man? Because you see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So it's very important that we look at men's health, and some of the things that take a man down in his health that cooperates with Satan is some of the differences is men tend to be the one that smokes. We know that smoking is detrimental to our health. Those men tends to be the reason why there's that shortage between, or the difference between men and women, is sometimes drinking as well. Now women are catching up with that, but the alcohol can cause health problems like cirrhosis of the liver that take our men out early. There's trauma and violence. Men tend to be more involved in violent types of things and behavior that may cause accidents and things of that nature. Also in diet and exercise, the difference between men and women. Women tend to eat better. Men, and traditionally, meat and potatoes, that macho meal, and they don't get some of the vegetables and fruits that brings antioxidants that protects against cancer. Men also have a tendency, in this generation, don't get enough exercise, whereas women they may not go to the gym, but they're actually keeping house and doing things. So they tend to be more active after the man
Right.
comes home from a job where he's sitting down at the computer, comes home and sit down and look at TV. So that's a problem. The other thing that's a big difference with men and women is stress and social isolation. So that hard charging, driving man that succeeds at businesses, it raises up his blood pressure, clogging arteries, that type A personality, the stress and the hostilities all can lead to heart disease, as well as social isolation. The American man's ideal of independence is go it alone. You know, I got to do this by myself. That's the American attitude, American men's attitude. People are good medicine. God, when he said he'll make the likeness, he said, make a man in the likeness, he said, of us. That means relationship. Women are very good at interpersonal relationships, which may explain why women live longer on the earth, because they congregate. That's why also men who are very active in their church, have that support group, have a church family and things of Christian men, really tend to live longer than men who are not, because they don't have that social network. Also, healthcare. There's a difference between women and men with healthcare, because women think about their health more than men. We know that. And women are more diligent about getting checkups and prevention care, but men minimize their symptoms. They tend to minimize the symptoms, they gloss over their concerns, and sometimes they even disregard medical advice, right? Those are some of the things men do. And then sometimes they don't do health care because of their busy work schedule or competing responsibilities and their interests. And then the plain old macho mentality appears to be the chief culprit of why they don't seek health care. And we need not for you men to be macho. We need for you all to come in and get checked up. Anytime the men will take their car in for annual checkup to get their car checked out and make sure that their car is running efficiently. And that's just the car. Your body is more important because that's what you have. So you should, men should be just as diligent at checking up on their physical car than their car that surely will break down.
Yeah, because but if you look at that, a lot of people don't realize your body is running 24 hours a day. It doesn't stop. Your heart don't stop and take a break. It's constantly running, and you're right. You got to maintain that, and you know, and that is the fault of some men. Not me, for instance. I go get my checkup, do what I need to do annually. It doesn't make a difference. I know my body. If I feel something's out of whack, I'm on the phone talking to the doctor what's going on and stuff like that. So I hear you on that. We need to educate the men.
Yeah, you're very unique, because men will not. It has to be, they have to be in pain, very uncomfortable before they seek out medical care. But if you don't have to, by the time you have pain is really a sign. That's the warning sign that something has really happened.
Right.
We want to prevent. We want to get that oil changed and the carburetor cleaned out. We don't want to get to the point where the engine is starting to blow up before we do anything about it.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, because I have some back pains and stuff, and I refuse to take medication. I told her doctor, I'm not taking medication for that. She said, what you gonna do? I said, I'll just go through she put me through rehab right now. All it is it's tight and tense. And she said, are you sure medication? I said, I'm positive. But they will prescribe it to me, and I will not take it. And here I am. I'm still going along fine. You know, I have moments, especially in the wintertime. If people say that's an old wives' tale, yeah, a cold front. Well, if you got any sore knees or backs, it's the pressure. People don't understand. It's the pressure in the air that does all that to your body too. Because during the wintertime, you got the low pressure coming in. So, it's pressure, and people don't realize that pressure is also affecting your body too, because the pressure's coming down on you, not with the air and stuff. It affects the human body. If
Yes.
Go ahead.
But you're unique in that if we did a survey, you are very unique in that you actually do come in and get a checkup. But for the most part, men, unless they're not, especially in a health and wellness clinic like I have,
Yeah.
and we specialize in weight management, they feel that they don't need any help. I'm good, but you're not good. If your waist circumference, let me tell you, man, just looking in the mirror, take off your shirt, look in the mirror. If you cannot see your toe, you look down, you can't see your toes, or you turn to the side and it looks like you're a little pregnant, then you have some issues that you need to be dealing with before they turn into major problems. If your waist circumference and you don't measure below your stomach, you measure it at the belly button. If it's over 40, you're at high risk of future heart disease, which is the #1 killer still for men and women, but certainly the #1 killer for men. And so therefore you need to do something about it. It doesn't matter if your arms are big, your legs are big, but it's the dead center. If your stomach is over 40 inches, you have an issue that you need to be taking care of to prevent, so that you don't want to leave your family without a father, without a husband. I tell my patients, my men patients, it is significantly important. If you love your wife, then health choices, the choices that you make far as your health is concerned, is really a demonstration of loving her. Don't say you love her and then you're not willing to make sacrifices of your flesh or your desire to not be healthy, because you're setting up her for a lifetime of being without her covering, which God made for a covering, where it may be you're putting her in a financial situation, unprotected in this world, and leaving her here. That is not love. Love is sacrifice, just like Jesus. Love is sacrificing your desires for the betterment of someone else. And so that's why having this talk about men's health and prevention is mightily important.
So since we know that with men's health and everything, so what are some of the preventions that we could take care of now? Because a lot of people think, now this is years of this building up. You can't take a magic pill and poof, you're down to a six-pack. It's going to take time. It's going to take time to work on that. And a lot of people are in this microwave world where they want it done instantly. Well, this is years of buildup that you got to gradually have a lifestyle change.
Yes, sir. And the first thing, as we've been talking about, the first thing is you have to have a desire, a mindset, and a will, a love for wanting to change. That's #1. When patients come here, we tell them what they bring on their first visit. But one of the things that we tell them is to bring a "I will do" attitude. Don't drop it. You can bring your insurance card and all this other stuff, but if you don't have an "I will do" attitude, a made up mind, you're not going to be successful. You have to have a mindset and a willingness to want to change. Now, there are 3 leading causes of death specifically for men, but it's the 3 leading causes of death for women and men in America, which is heart disease, stroke, cancer is second, and stroke is after that. And all of these 3 killers of men are preventable through lifestyle change. So how can we keep men healthy? A program like my program here of proper and healthy diet, exercise, supplement, stress control, medical care, checkups can keep a man healthy. So as we talk about the number one, which is coronary artery disease, it is a hardening of the heart muscle that then keeps that can a clot can come in and block up that heart muscle, and that is called a heart attack. Some of the risk factors for that is smoking. So when you smoke, the nicotine causes the blood vessels to constrict. When your blood vessels constrict, you increase your blood pressure. But that is also causing damage to the inside of that vessel. So if you look at that vessel as a water hose, then you can do damage. And then when that damage is happening, if there's a constriction and then there's scar tissue in there, that kind of limits the flow of blood. So that makes it come at a risk factor for a possible heart attack. Another thing is high cholesterol. So fat on the inside of your vessels, and you can't tell that from the outside. You got to get a checkup, right? We got to look and get the blood work. But if you don't come in, we don't know what's on the inside because you're just looking on the outside and there's no symptoms. Heart disease, or at least a heart attack, is called a silent killer. So you don't have to have pain to have things happening. You can have a sudden heart attack and you're gone. So that's why we got to get these things checked up on. Lack of exercise also causes those arteries to not, your blood to not flow in as well as it should be able to flow. Diabetes, and that comes back to eating or healthy eating, as well as obesity. All of these things, and anger and depression and isolation, all sets us up for heart disease. 4 out of 5 attacks occur after the age of 65. So there's a doctor's quote. I love this doctor's quote. He says, a man is as old as his arteries. A man is as old as his arteries, the health of his arteries. That's what makes a man old, not necessarily the age, but his condition of what his arteries are looking like on the inside.
Yeah. Wow. I also, since you brought that up, the silent killer, the heart attack, I was reading something about a month ago that they stated that they said 65% of heart attacks occur during the morning time.
Yeah, so absolutely. So that's why also, if indeed you are on blood pressure medicine, men, and hopefully we can do some lifestyle changes to even change that, the hypertension, and reverse that, because it can be reversed. A lot of doctors out here said, you're on this medicine, you're going to be on it for the rest of your life. The devil is a lie. That's not necessarily have to be the case. But if you don't change your lifestyle, then you might need to be on medicine. So you choose which way you want to go. Yeah. But absolutely. So it's very important, even if you're on medication for hypertension, then you want to take your blood pressure. You want to have a blood pressure machine at home. And you want to take that blood pressure first thing in the morning. Because if indeed after you've been resting and if your blood pressure is high at that point, that's serious. I mean, we need to make sure that we get things under control. So therefore, you want to make sure that you're monitoring your own self. You need to be your own best provider or doctor by taking that information to your doctors. So that way you're in cooperation with your doctors.
Yeah, I'm going to ask you a question.
Yes, sir.
What would be a blood pressure for a man between 65 and 70? What should it be?
Well, the American Heart Association certainly has, and not just a man, it's across the board, but certainly the American Heart says anything 120 over 80 is considered or you go to 130 over 80, that's considered stage 1 hypertension because they've lowered the standards. Now, for a man that's older, I have a tendency to be a little bit more conservative than that. I certainly don't think that you should be on medication at that point, but certainly we should be doing lifestyle changes and changing some of our lifestyle. I don't usually tend to look at helping people with medication until they're in the 140s over 90. But so I actually feel like that 130 over 80, it used to be normal. Now with the standards they have, they consider that stage 1 hypertension. I tend to not see that, especially when you're older, because you need that extra pressure to to circulate that blood around your whole entire body.
Yeah, that makes a lot. Could it be that they change it so the pharmaceutical could make money? That's how I see it.
Well, well, yeah, big pharma and money is always the driver of different things. So yes, but again, we're not concerned about how we should be more concerned about lifestyle changes.
Yeah.
So that way we don't even have to consider that. Now, I know a couple of other men things you would like to talk about before we leave.
Okay.
Is erectile dysfunction,
Okay.
as well as maybe low testosterone and prostate cancer, which those are specific for men's health. So erectile dysfunction, some of the risk factors for erectile dysfunction is age. As we get older, our vessels tend to be less pliable and not as healthy. Remember, as you age, depending on how well you're taking care of your body, that is a problem. So as we age, there's some damage that may happen to the blood flow and the vessels that go into the penis. So the penis itself, you have to think about the penis as being a big artery, because that's what causes blood flow into the penis, which causes the erection. That causes that for there to be erection. So anything that damaged the blood flow throughout your body is going to impair erectile dysfunction. So what we want to do is we want to protect vascular health and so we can preserve sexual function. So those things like diabetes, we don't want that. We want to prevent diabetes. That's why we need to come in and get checked and do those lifestyle changes, because diabetes out of control damages the small vessels as well as your nerve endings that you need to have for erectile dysfunction, for you to have your erection. Also, anything hypertension. Hypertension can cause a problem with erectile dysfunction because we can be put on medication. And there are certain medications like beta blockers that relaxes the cells and the vessels so that your blood pressure will go down, but it's not selective. It can do that also in your penis. So therefore you don't have, and you have a hard time maintaining erection. A lot of the drugs to help to treat depression also can cause erectile dysfunction. So certainly we don't want to get depressed. We want to, become blessed by, incorporating your faith and no isolation. So that way you don't have to get on medication for depression. So alcohol, believe it or not, can also depress sexual reflexes.
Yeah.
Alcohol can decrease that. Also, alcohol increases estradiol, which is the female hormone. And estradiol can convert testosterone into estrogen, which makes you have men boobs. So
what?
Yeah,
What's
so we're going to talk about.
Wait, say that again.
We're going to talk about low testosterone because if estradiol, alcohol can increase estradiol, which is an estrogen that can then check. Think about it. Men who have an alcoholic problem, they have what? A stomach, and they have men boobs. Or their men, their upper body, they start to look like a girly man because their testosterone levels are low because their estrogen levels are high. And alcohol can actually cause that. The other thing that we get, and then diabetes can interfere with erection because the blood vessels and nerves can be affected. 50% of men with diabetes actually are diagnosed with erectile dysfunction. And men, do not be ashamed to then get help. If you're finding you're having a difficulty to maintain an erection, don't, that's a stigma is behind a stigma. A lot of times, especially if they have a female provider, they may not come to us and let us know what's going on so that we can find out what we need to do to reverse that situation and prevent it. So be bold. You got help. I'm certainly here to help you. You can come see me at MBS Holistic Health and Wellness Clinic so that we can then make sure that your sexual health is maintained. Not only for you, but for your wife. I'm a wife, so
yeah.
it's important to me.
Okay.
So some of the treatments for erectile, and there is treatments for erectile dysfunction. We have the little blue pill everybody knows about for Viagra. But the best way to treat erectile dysfunction is treating the cause. And the cause is to make sure your vessels are healthy by those things I talked about before: exercise, diet, eating right, not no alcohol, just a healthy lifestyle that we can help, losing weight, all those things, no smoking. Those are the best things to do, is to treat the underlying cause, the high blood pressure, the diabetes, and things of that nature. Obesity is the best way, but there's also the little blue pill that can help with erectile dysfunction.
Okay. Well, you covered a lot right there. Men, I hope you're listening out there.
And women, because informant wife, if you're listening, inform your men and let them know that you're there to support them and to give them the information if they don't get it. Women, God called you to be helpmeets. And so therefore, because your man is trying to take care of the family, he's busy, all these responsibilities, by you being his helpmate, you need to come to him in a loving way, not in a demanding way, in a loving way, to help him clear up his schedule, encourage him to come in to get his health and, to get a checkup and to support him in any way you can. And right along, if it's not just in the exercise, to be his partner. So it's best, I'm really excited. In the year of 2023, the clinic has at least 10 to 12 couples, husband and wife teams coming in. Matter of fact, we have a little competition among those people, that whoever loses the most fat weight as a couple, we're going to give them a date night out. So I'm really excited to see couples coming in, because that's your best buddy. And the Bible says 2 is better than 1, because if one falls, there's the brother is there to pick them up. And so, women, I need you to talk to your man and get them in the clinic.
Hear that, women? And men, if you're listening.
Now, you might want to talk about love. Now, the other issue for men is low testosterone. And over the age of 40, the men lose testosterone at least 1% every year. They lose the level of testosterone. And testosterone, what it does, it improves muscle mass and strength, and improves your bone density, and the possibility, it increases libido and sexual performance. It decreases inflammation, it protects your brain, it increases your memory, it decreases depression and irritability. So testosterone is needed, and the way you can naturally build testosterone or maintain it is through physical fitness. And of course, now we just have to remember also, I just told you, if you get if the men get a lot of estradiol, like through, like I said, alcohol or meat that's been injected with hormones, we know that that's happening. So nowadays, the level of testosterone for men in this generation is much lower than back in the day, because we didn't have all these things in our meats and things of like that nature. So it's best to get meats that are organic or hormone free and things of that nature. But sometimes we can't, it is expensive and we can't avoid that. And so therefore, sometimes it's important for men to get supplementation or treated with getting testosterone. That's something that we do here at the clinic as well. So.
Okay. Wow. One-stop shop. I love this. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, we're all about health and wellness.
And, you're right. But just to say it, most men are just plain hard-headed. I'm gonna say it. They're hard-headed. They think they know everything, and they don't, and they won't admit when they're wrong.
That macho, remember I told you
Yes.
earlier, one of the reasons why we started out is that macho mentality, which is really, the devil is very happy for them to be thinking that way, because again, the ultimate goal is to destroy the nuclear family and to get to the men.
Yeah.
Because they're the ones that's blocking things to get to the men and leave women unprotected and not there to provide and to protect and to be a backbone of this society. So that's how God set it up. So of course the devil wants to do the opposite. He wants women to be living longer than men.
Yeah. So let me ask you something. I don't know if you'll be able to answer. I'm gonna ask you anyway. The hard-headed man out there, the ones who think that they're healthy, don't have to worry about anything, and the wife knows that something's going on with him, but he really don't want to listen to her. Where's the intervention part of that to get him to realize, hey, you need to go to the doctor and go to that? Because I hear nightmare stories how men get upset. You can't tell me what to do. I know my body, and she just sitting there. She tries and she tries, and I just hear horror stories that sometimes get abusive towards her.
Well, yes, and that is a touchy thing, but it's the way we women have to come at it. We really have to talk about love. Mm-hmm. Love is an action. It's not enough to say, I love you. Agape love meaning sacrifice, right? That agape love means you think of the other person before you think of yourself. And so she has to come to him in a way to let him know that this actually, if you take care of yourself, I love you. I want you to be here with me as long as I possibly can. I want to also make sure that our sexual intimacy is protected for as long as possible. And so if you love me and we want to continue the joy and quality of life, you have to appeal to the women, and the wives need to appeal to their husbands from a love perspective, to let him know that this not badgering him, not coming at him from that perspective, but to let her know that I'm saying this because I love you and I know that you love me and you want me to be protected, and you want to be here with me, and we want to share a quality of life and a healthy sex life, then please, by all means, go get checked out. Well, so she's got to come from that perspective.
And you're right about that. Let me tell you a little story happened to me. My wife came and said, I love you, and you know that. So can you do me a favor? Can you go get your hearing checked? I said, there's nothing wrong with my hearing. She said, well, sometimes I'll be talking to you and I feel that you're not hearing me. I said, I hear you fine. So I agree with her. I went to go get a hearing test. So I went into the little booth to sit down there. I told the doctor, said, there's nothing wrong with my hearing. I just choose not to hear it sometimes. And so they did the test and came out, and she said, well, how is he? Ain't no wrong with his hearing. He just said he didn't choose not to hear you. But she was, but she was concerned. But I went.
Because she said, I love you.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the way, it's not what we say. Most of the time, it's the way we say it. And so the Bible says that women are to respect your husbands, and the man is to love his wife. So with respect, because men honor respect. And so it's the way you say it. And if you're saying things in a respectful manner to your husband out of love, then you're going to get more, you're going to catch more sugar or more bees with honey than you are with lemon. Okay.
There you go.
So certainly you have to really appeal to his responsibility. Most men want to be able to provide for their family. They want to be able to be there to protect their family. And so she needs to come at it from that perspective.
Hey,
real quickly, I know we only have a few minutes.
Okay.
The last thing I want to definitely touch on is prostate cancer.
Oh, yes.
And especially as we go into February's African American History Month, men, we have a tendency, African American men, the health disparities, they have more prostate cancer than usually men of other race. And the reason why is not because they're just African American, but back in, before that race, when we came from Africa, we were closer to the sun. This is very important. This is, as far as I'm concerned, is the #1 public health intervention we can do to decrease those numbers. And when you're closer to the sun, you're getting vitamin D. Vitamin D is significantly important. Men, get your vitamin D checked. Vitamin D helps support your immune system. So we're constantly having cancer cells in our body, but the body's immune system, and there's things within our body that's why we got to eat the rainbow, to get antioxidants to go in there and to protect our bodies from these, our cells from mutating, is that we get that vitamin D from the sun. The best way, now we can supplement, and I supplement some of our patients here, but the best way to get vitamin D is in the sun. The thing is, we African Americans tend to be, they have melatonin to protect their skin from the sun, because back then they were closer to the sun. So, too much sun can cause cancer. So that's why the melatonin is there to protect. But then we migrated, or slave, we came up from there to the north, and now we're further away from the sun. And so because we're further away from the sun, and I don't know, this may be just a tradition or a culture, it's a cultural thing, that if you're dark, you don't want to be darker, right? Have you ever heard that?
Yeah.
People who are dark skinned, they don't want to get in the sun because they don't want to get darker. But those are the people that need to be in the sun a little bit more, because they're not getting as much vitamin D as other people who may be lighter skinned. So you need to get in the sun, African American men. You need to spend at least 15 to 20 minutes every day in the sun if possible, maybe a little longer. And I'm not talking about just out there bathing, but you got to get some exposure. We spend way too much time indoors.
Yes.
So therefore, we're not getting exposure to the vitamin D. That is significantly important. And so therefore, you need to get your vitamin D levels checked. It needs to be about 50, no matter what the doctor says. Come to a health and wellness clinic. I get it up to 50. And if you don't get out in the sun, you need to get it supplemented.
Yes.
Vitamin D3, and not only vitamin D3, if you're going to just take some vitamin D3 over the counter, you need to take it with vitamin
Hey,
K2.
I was going to ask you about that.
K2, because
Yes.
K2 helps the vitamin D get into the blood, from the bloodstream into the cells, and keep those vessels nice and pliable so that blood can run through them, so that it affects the whole entire body.
Yes. I asked you about that K2. I got it on my list because I'm about out of my D3. So I'm gonna make sure I add that to it. So
Yeah.
I'm listening to you.
So that's very, very important. So those are the kinds of things that we need to do. Men, you need to take control. You need to be responsible.
Yes.
And if you want to protect your family, the best way you can protect your family and to love on your family is not those material things. We want you to be here with us
Yes.
as long as we possibly can. And we don't want to be you here with us and not be able to have a quality of life, to continue to enjoy life and to enjoy our sex life as long as we possibly can. Men that are healthy at the age of 80 can still produce babies if they're healthy. So certainly, I mean, you don't want children.
Yeah, I got to say that. So I'm 80 years old.
You might not want children at that age, but it's possible with healthy vessels.
Right.
Just remember what the doctor said. Your man's age is based on their vessel age. That's what makes the difference.
Yes. Yes. Okay.
And a healthy lifestyle will certainly get you on the path, and regular checkups. And if you need help, MBS Holistic Health and Wellness Clinic, certainly here, got your back. Not only got your back, mind, body, and spirit.
Okay. I'm looking at some of the comments. A lot of people are listening, treating the cause. Hey, man, she's right what she's saying. Health is number one. So we got people commenting on it. And I mean, I got people to look forward for you being on the show because I always brag about you. I said, Tina, tell it like it is. She's about health, for health, for health. And they said, what you mean for health, for health? Just think about it. You know, she doesn't sugarcoat anything. She lets you know straight up, because I think everybody needs to know straight up. Don't sugarcoat. Well, if you do that, no, stop doing that. You know, just tell it like it is. Why are you doing that? You know.
Amen. Amen.
So
the Bible says in Deuteronomy, God puts before us life or death, blessing or curses. So whatever we choose, we're going to get the consequences of those things. But he prefers that we choose life.
yes.
And he gives us the word and everything we need for life to manifest. John 10:10 says, the thief comes not but for to steal, kill, and destroy. So, and then Jesus says, I came to give you life and that more abundantly. So if we're dealing with sickness and disease, that did not come from God. That means we're open, we have came in cooperation with Satan by way of our lifestyle, oftentimes. So therefore, we can choose life, we can turn it around. It's never too late to turn, make changes so that you can be healthier and be around to be with your spouse for a long quality life, not just a quantity of life, but a quality of life.
Amen to that. Okay, to wrap things up, tell us what you got going on in March again. Is it March?
Yes, so March the 18th,
okay,
from 5 to 8:30 at Now Word Church, which is not too far from our clinic. We are having a testimony service. Again, it's called Glorify Him, a manifestation or a celebration of manifestation. So you're going to be able to enjoy, there's going to be praise, there's going to be food and fellowship, there's going to be testimony, and there's going to be fashion. So come dressed to impress. We're going to glorify God. And if you show up, you're probably going to get a little discount if you decide you want to come and be be an MBS member and take advantage of our services here. I'm planning on, for those who sign up that day, I'm planning on giving you a little present, a little gift if you sign up.
Yeah, I see that little twinkle in your eye right there. You are so, when you mentioned that, you just lit up like a Christmas tree over there.
I love serving God's people, helping God's people get fit for the fight, because there is going to be the times are going to get rough, and you know what? Here's what my pastor would say: it doesn't matter about the weather. If it's storming, raining, or what have you, what's going to happen on the outside is going to happen. It doesn't matter if you have a raincoat, right? If you have a raincoat, you're good. If you have a parka, or you have a warm coat and a hat and gloves, it doesn't matter what happens on the outside. You be ready for what's coming, because you can't control what's outside of you, but you have a choice of what happens with you. So you be prepared for what's coming. And the way to do that is to be healthy, mind, body, and spirit.
One last question. So
Yeah.
when is your official ceremony taking place?
It is February the 5th, the first Sunday in February at 6 o'clock.
At 6 o'clock. You know what?
Oh.
Somebody invited me there. I ain't gonna say her name. Sandra did. I just said her name. So I'll probably sit there watching you and, cheering you on, and all that good stuff. Congratulations. It couldn't happen to a nicer person than you, because I know you worked hard for it. I hear you quoting the Bible. You are a true woman of God. Don't ever change, Tina.
Amen. Well, thank you. To God be the glory. And I am privileged to be his servant. And that's what I am. The clinic was set up to help God's people be fit for the fight. And I'm here to serve God's people. I'm a servant for God's servants. And so therefore we want to be effective, and we want to be able to represent God well. And so that's what that whole testimony service is about, is to celebrate those who have been faithful, living H2, holy and healthy. And so that we want to show the community that it can be done, and the manifestation of choosing to live a healthy.
All right. Thank you, Tina, for being on board. We always look forward to having you on. Like, I think we're making this a monthly thing, if I'm right, have you on once a month, so you could enlighten us on everything. We appreciate that.
All right, you're welcome. I look forward to talking to you next month. I want to make sure I must put it on the schedule, but
yeah,
talk about it next month. And then you can let your audience, if your audience has something specific they want to talk about in the month of March, you can just let me know.
Okay.
If there's anything specific topic that we want to touch on. I
will let you know. I usually get them things after the show, because we show it again on Facebook. They see it all the time, and I'll be diligent this time around and edit this one right away and get it to you. I shipped the other one to you already, so I'll make sure I get this to you in a timely manner.
Okay, so, no problem. I'm looking forward to you leading the way by coming over to the clinic and an appointment yourself.
Oh, I'm waiting for Sandra to say something. She's gonna say it's not my fault, but yes, I would definitely lead the way.
Wonderful, because we want you to be on the air as long as we possibly can. So we love you. So we want you to come over to the clinic, and so that you can continue to be holy and healthy.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay. Well, you take care, and you keep on doing what you're doing. God bless you.
God bless you as well.
Okay.
Bye-bye now.
Goodbye.